Tonight, the big sell on the budget. The biggest budget in living memory. Billions for business, workers and pensioners. The Treasurer hoping it's enough to drag the country out of recession. The budget will put money back into the pockets of everyday Victorians. The state's coffers could be billions worse off. Porsche driver Richard Pusey back in court and slapped with even more charges over the Eastern Freeway tragedy. And the Melbourne Cup hits the road. Its first stop, the hometown of the youngest jockey to win racing's greatest prize.
This is 10 News First Melbourne with Jennifer Keyte.
Good evening. First tonight, the big spending budget for our unprecedented times. Billions for business, pensioners and to help younger people get back to work. And the federal government's wasted no time in selling the spend. It's one that'll put a huge hole into the debt ceiling, a record $966 billion. Network political editor Peter Van Onselen joins us live now. Peter, all this spending, it's about jobs, jobs and more jobs.
It certainly is. It's all about them trying to keep that unemployment rate as low as they possibly can. There's always a little bit of the theatre of the absurd the day after the budget with all the media focus and the spin and the sales job that follows. But the government really wants to hone in on that message that their priority is Australians who are either in work, who are worried about losing their jobs, or those many hundreds of thousands who have lost jobs who they want to get back into employment, if for no other reason than to try to get the tax take up in order to also then eventually get the debt down. But it will be a long road, but the sales job, it started today.
The day after the most important budget in a generation, it's time to feed the media.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Have you had any sleep? Yeah, g'day, Keyte. Always good to be with you.
No budget pleases everyone.
Where's the Prime Minister? Hello, Mr Prime Minister.
And the photo ops don't always go according to plan. But the sales pitch did have a clear theme.
Jobs, 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 jobs. There'll be more jobs.
Everyone's asking you about.
And the size of the debt is hard to swallow.
It should only be based on the health. I'm very sorry.
The jobs message reinforced by the Treasurer in his National Press Club address.
This government's first, this government's second, this government's third priority is to get Australians back to work.
Josh Frydenberg's clear priority is to keep the unemployment rate in single digits, bringing it back to pre-COVID levels in the years ahead.
And he wants Australians to know what would have happened if he didn't rack up record amounts of debt to try and save jobs.
Unemployment will rise to 12% this year and next, but for the measures that we've taken in this budget.
Only after the government gets unemployment below 6% will it even consider getting ballooning debt back under control.
You cannot have a budget repair strategy without having a jobs recovery.
The success of the budget is built on
a vaccine to be available around the end of 2021 is one of the assumptions in the budget.
But according to the PM,
the measures in this budget are not dependent on whether there's a vaccine or not next year.
At the heart of the budget is defeating this virus. Donald Trump says we shouldn't be afraid of COVID-19. You once called him a dropkick. What superlative would you use now?
Well, I'm going to leave the commentary on other nations' political systems to you, Peter. You won't see Scott Morrison putting out those sort of messages.
The Treasurer is socially distancing the PM from the President's take on the virus. Peter Van Onselen for 10 News First.
The big spending measures in the budget will put more cash into back pockets of many Victorians as we emerge from lockdown. But there are predictions the state's population growth will stall, and that will cost billions in GST payments.
For 3 generations, Stavros Konis's family has run Greek eatery Salona.
It's been the toughest time. I didn't think I was going to come through it, to be honest with you. But now with this budget, I think that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
He's praising rebates to hire staff and incentives to spend.
The tax write-offs are also going to be sensational, like we can invest in our business.
Down the street, many are welcoming the income tax cuts.
They're giving me more money.
A little bit extra back.
I think they're good, they're generous.
Business is happy too.
We think it hits a lot of the areas that Victorian businesses need to see and will certainly stimulate jobs, and that's what's needed right now.
But with borders closed and universities missing international students, the budget is also predicting Victoria's population could be cut by 400,000 over the next year. It could cost the state $3.7 billion in GST payments.
3 years ago, Melbourne added 129,000 people in a single 12-month period. My expectation is that in the coming year, it will be maybe 10, 20-odd thousand people, which would take it back to the rate of growth we experienced at the time of the last recession in 91-92.
The scene is set for the state government to deliver its own pandemic budget, and while the Treasurer Tim Pallas is yet to announce a date, the Premier has flagged a big spend on public housing.
It'll be a budget that won't just repair the damage, but a budget that will set us up for an even stronger future.
Simon Love for 10 News First.
Victoria's 14-day rolling average has finally dropped to single digits, but hundreds of Kilmore residents have been forced to self-isolate as the Department of Health scrambles to contain and contact trace an outbreak. Natasha Exelby joins us live now from Kilmore. Tash, you've been speaking with some of those locals who've been asked to isolate.
I have, Jen, just at this pop-up testing clinic behind me. They told me that they were customers of the Oddfellows Cafe and they'd been contacted by the Department of Health to say that they had to self-isolate for at least 14 days because they were in danger of having COVID-19, and yet they've had to spend hours on end today waiting in the pouring rain to be tested for COVID-19. Oddfellows Cafe is very popular. So many people go in there every day to pop in for a coffee or a cake, and that could end up costing them dearly.
One COVID-infected person from Melbourne went to a Kilmore cafe, and now the entire community is paying the price. After 2 local residents tested positive, people queued for hours to be tested, nervously hoping their number isn't up and their town won't be shut down.
The virus continues to be wild and active. It is exceptionally dangerous. It moves very quickly.
It's been long. I've been standing for, nearly 2 hours.
We've got to do what you've got to do, and we're trying to do the right thing.
One thing in Kilmore's favour is the cafe kept meticulous records of every person who's visited during lockdown.
Each one of those people has been followed up, and as a result we have 177 people, and the people that they live with in turn, so 170 people and their immediate households, who are now self-isolating.
The Chadstone cluster has grown to 31. The Department of Health is door-knocking every business in the area. Overnight, there were 6 new cases in Victoria, and our 14-day average hit single digits for the first time in months. There are 206 active cases and 2 more people have died.
Our COVID case count is tracking in line with our roadmap to recovery plan, but the Premier is flatly refusing to say whether Metro Melbourne will exit stage 4 on the scheduled October 19.
We can't predict what tomorrow's numbers will look like, let alone another 12, 14 days on. We just have to do this one day at a time.
A sign of the times, thousands of masked Year 12 students sitting the GAT after an unprecedented year of learning.
Yeah, it was pretty different. Last year, obviously, I did the GAT as well in very different circumstances, no mask.
I'm pretty used to the mask. Working outside of school, it's not too bad, but I think learning from home has definitely been a lot more difficult.
The entire state is being tested like never before. Natasha Exelby for 10 News First.
There's been a backdown on controversial detention laws sought by the state government to fight the coronavirus pandemic. State political reporter Simon Love is with us. Simon, it seems lawyers and crossbench politicians, they got their way.
Yeah, they have, Jen. Attorney General Jill Hennessy will move amendments and remove a controversial clause in the omnibus bill. Now, it comes after lawyers, the opposition and crossbench politicians were outraged when the government planned the laws able to lawfully detain any person that they believed posed a risk to spreading COVID-19. Now, there will now be clear definitions in the law for who can be an authorised officer and the specific training that they'll get. Now, they include police officers and PSOs, WorkSafe inspectors, like you can see on the screen, health practitioners and even interstate public servants. And Labor's also confirmed its replacement for Jenny Mikakos in the upper house. Sheena Watt will be the party's first female Indigenous MP and says that she is honoured and humbled. Her appointment will be confirmed next week. So, Jen, with this change, it appears that the government will have a much better chance of passing the omnibus bill when it goes before Parliament's upper house next week.
OK, thank you very much, Simon. One of Victoria's most experienced defence lawyers has accused police of overcharging a man they suspect of filming a dying police officer. Porsche driver Richard Pusey is already facing at least a dozen counts, and today police added one more.
Almost 6 months since an horrific crash on the Eastern Freeway which killed 4 police officers, Richard Pusey, who was pulled over in his Porsche minutes before the incident, has been charged with another offence: the possession of an anti-speed measuring device which can be used to slow down or jam police speed guns. Pusey remains in custody and appeared via video link. The court heard during a recorded interview with police, the 42-year-old said he regretted taking video footage at the scene. He was ashamed of what was contained in the footage, and he was ashamed because he had said horrible things. The court heard before deleting the footage, Pusey had sent the video to an Australian federal police officer who was a friend and sought legal advice. But the prosecution argued a destruction of evidence charge should stick. He deleted the videos, he restored factory settings and intentionally gave police the wrong phone. The court heard Pusey swapped the SIM cards. His lawyer argued charges of perverting the course of justice, reckless conduct endangering serious injury and failing to render assistance can't be sustained. This court can't be a rubber stamp. This person is seriously overcharged. The magistrate will deliver her ruling next week. Christina Costalis for 10 News First.
A man is tonight behind bars after he allegedly injected a syringe into packaged food at Woolworths. The 33-year-old was arrested after a shopper witnessed a man inserting a needle into loaves of bread.
A day after the bread aisle was thrown out in a contamination scare, shelves were restocked at Roxburgh Village Woolworths.
Very weird. I barely hear about things like this happen, especially in our area.
A female shopper raised the alarm late yesterday after she saw a man insert a syringe into loaves of bread. By the time police arrived, the man had fled.
Like, I just thought it was someone just trying to scare the locals.
After reviewing footage inside the store, detectives arrested 33-year-old Fu Wang less than 24 hours after the alleged act. The Craigieburn resident was charged with 1 count of contaminating goods with the intention to cause public alarm or economic loss. In a statement, Woolworths said staff removed all bread from the shelves last night, and if customers had any concerns about bread purchased at the store yesterday, they could return for a refund. The accused lawyer told the court this afternoon Mr Wang was on antidepressants and needed to see a doctor. He did not apply for bail. The matter returns to court next month. Jade Kotick for 10 News First.
Well, now here's Stephen previewing sport, and I hate to say it, another disastrous day for the Bombers.
I'm afraid so, Jen. Another day, another star wants out. This time, the biggest name of all, Joe Danaher. Also, Tom Lynch ready to roar for the Tigers. Could Saturday be Gary Ablett's curtain call? And going swimmingly as Dallasan continues his prep for the Caulfield Cup.
Thanks, Stephen. Coming up in 10 News First. Billionaire James Packer points the finger at Crown executives, saying he feels let down. And detectives confident they're getting closer to solving the baffling murder of Jared Lovison in the Latrobe Valley.
The moment I wake up,
these boys have no bloody idea what's coming for them.
Before I put on my makeup.
There's 2 of you. Why is it 2?
I say a little prayer for you.
We are both the Bachelorettes.
Your sisters?
We're sisters, and we're both bachelorettes.
Two girls.
2 girls.
Looking for 1 guy each.
1 guy each?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say.
The new season of The Bachelorette starts 7:30 tonight on 10.
Starbucks coffee is coming home. Full range now available in select supermarkets and online.
Hey, check this. Powerball has jackpotted to $20 million. Sound good? Grab a ticket today.
Play now in-store at thelot.com or on the Lot app.
At First State Super, we're aware our members breathe life into the community.
So we invest to do well for them and to help make communities stronger. We'll never change this commitment, but we have changed our name. Aware of the positive impact our members make, the values we share, and aware that superannuation can be a force for good. We are Aware Super.
Australia's Nature One dairy helps them with every wobble, every smile, splat, plonk, yoink, scribble, shuck, laugh, yawn and flop. Your partner in parenthood. Australia's Nature One dairy.
Even the harshest places in Australia have these beautiful natural surfaces. It's just incredible to photograph. It's the same with Colorbond Steel Matte, strong, enduring yet subtle in its beauty.
With McDelivery, Macca's comes to you, so you can enjoy it at home, fast, safe and contact-free. Search Macca's website for your local delivery partner.
Look, if you find yourself in a position similar to what I've been through, just call Henry. He will look after you. Henry will make you feel like a real person. You won't be treated as just another case.
It's the fun new series that's perfect family viewing.
Yes! So good!
The critics are saying it's the most heartwarming show on television.
The kind of heart we need right now.
And these kids will blow your mind.
Oh my goodness!
Don't miss the best TV you'll see this year.
Do you dare me to take a giant bite?
Junior MasterChef on 10. It starts 7:30 Sunday.
Tuesday night, taco preparations begin. A dominant female wrestles with a guacamole, whilst her counterpart has found an alternative to beef mince. With grace, they settle into their nest for the evening.
Good evening. Checking the roads, we will begin with the good news out in the Mornington Peninsula area. In Mount Martha, the Esplanade is now open at both directions between Bradford Road and Ellerina Road following quite a big landslide from last week. Temporary barriers are in place with speeds down to 40 through there. And the not so good news, West Melbourne, we've actually got a truck that's managed to wedge himself underneath the rail bridge. Lloyd Street is closed at Dynon Road while crews work on that. I'm Jess Miller, back later in the bulletin with more traffic thanks to Sal Salmon.
Billionaire James Packer has blamed former executives for failing to warn him about their concerns over Chinese operations before Crown employees were jailed. Testifying to the Commission, which is deciding if Crown should be stripped of its gambling licence, Mr Packer said he was let down.
Day 2 of James Packer on the stand, giving evidence via a dodgy link from his luxury yacht in the South Pacific.
Seems to be a problem with the link, is there?
Madam Commissioner, I think the internet may have gone down because none of our messages are getting through.
A communication breakdown too during his time as Crown Director. Asked whether he knew his staff in China expressed fears for their safety before 19 were arrested for illegally promoting gambling.
No, I wasn't.
Or whether a Crown staff member in Wuhan had been questioned by Chinese police.
You agree it's extraordinary, Mr Packer, that they didn't inform you of it?
I don't know if it's extraordinary, it's incredibly disappointing.
Asked whether he bore some of the responsibility.
Do you accept any responsibility for these failures?
I accept some. Not all, but some.
Packer quit the board in 2018 over his mental health issues, but is still thought to wield influence over decision-making. Whether or not he still has influence at Crown, Packer currently owns 36% of the company, and that makes him relevant to its licence. If the inquiry deems him unsuitable to be a close associate of the company, he could be forced to sell down his shareholdings to below 10% or risk Crown losing its licence. Crown's current chair, former Federal Communications Minister Helen Coonan, will also give evidence to the inquiry alongside a slew of directors. At stake, the jewel in the Crown empire and the legacy of Packer himself. Ursula Hager for 10 News First.
A man accused of threatening to kill Queensland's Premier and Chief Health Officer has fronted court on the Gold Coast. Aaron David Marriage ran from cameras outside after the matter was adjourned so he could seek further legal advice. The 43-year-old was charged with using a carriage service to threaten to kill in September when police raided his home. In court today, he said the border closures and not being able to see his son for a year had played a role in the alleged offence. Legendary guitarist Eddie Van Halen has lost his long battle with cancer. The co-founder of band Van Halen, Eddie was considered one of rock's most innovative musicians, even though he never learned how to read music.
His hands were all over some of the biggest songs of the 80s. Eddie Van Halen was revered as a guitar god, the co-founder of band Van Halen, famous for stinging solos on his own hits and those of others, including Michael Jackson's Beat It. As if it were a guitar, he took on cancer with both hands. But after a 20-year battle, his son Wolfgang confirmed the sad news, tweeting, "He was the best father I could ever ask for. Every moment I've shared with him on and off the stage was a gift." The tributes then coming in as fast as his famous finger taps. Lenny Kravitz posting, "Heaven will be electric tonight." The band Metallica writing, "We considered him an inspiration, an idol." While Kiss's Gene Simmons says he's heartbroken.
He wasn't just a guitar god to millions of people, but Eddie was a gentle soul.
And from his ex-wife, actress Valerie Bertinelli, 40 years ago, my life changed forever when I met you. You gave me the one true light in my life, our son Wolfgang. Through all your challenging treatments for lung cancer, you kept your gorgeous spirit and that impish grin. Eddie Van Halen was 65. Lachlan Kennedy for 10 News First.
And ahead in 10 News First, symptom-free, the president comes good. The COVID-19 spreads through the White House. And still struggling, Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny reveals the ongoing effects of the poisoning attack.
Hello. On a wet day across Victoria. So far just a few showers for Melbourne, but the rain is setting in for tonight. The radar shows that rain moving across Victoria today from the north. Most of the showers went either side of Melbourne, so for the city so far it's been mostly drizzle. This morning Melbourne dropped to 10 degrees with a top of 15 degrees and currently 14 degrees in the city. Around Victoria, the heavier showers have been in the north of the state today, and again temperatures are sitting below average, especially through the southwest. Today temperatures reach the mid to high teens. Tonight the rain will intensify with more to come tomorrow. Melbourne's expecting 10 to 25 millimetres, but it's the north of the state that will get the big falls. There's a chance of up to 120 millimetres through the northeast, with a possibility of flash flooding. A severe weather warning for heavy rainfall and damaging winds tonight is in place from the Mallee right through to East Gippsland. I'll have an update for you coming up around 5 to 6.
The moment I wake up, I want to find love next to you.
Yeah.
Before I put on my makeup, It'll be magical. I say a little prayer for you. The new season of The Bachelorette starts 7:30 tonight.
We'll help you reclaim your garden this spring.
4-stroke lawnmower, only $199. Soil improver, just $4.90.
Where you find a competitor's lower price on the same stocked item, we'll beat it by 10%.
Shop online. It's like having the warehouse at your fingertips.
Everyone knows Australia has 4 big banks, but the 5th biggest retail bank is regularly voted one of the most trusted brands in Australia. Looks after more than 1.8 million customers and can be found in over 500 locations nationwide. So try Bendigo Bank, the better big bank.
Red Rock Deli. Discover a world of deliciousness.
Collect your story of memorable firsts at Pandora.
The new HP Envy range, as powerful as you.
I did more than lose 30 kilos on the OptiFast program. I've got my health and confidence back too.
With the OptiFast program, you can replace 3, 2 or 1 meals a day, depending on how quickly you want to lose weight. Find your plan.
You just chillin' me.
Oh yeah, you'll be running after this AFL Finals offer from Sportsbet for not just one, but for your first 3 same-game multis on every match this week. If one leg fails, get up to $50 back in bonus bets with Sportsbet.
New Rainbow Bursties make Hungry Jack's frozen drinks more fun with bursting bubbles of triple bursty flavour sensation. Or add Rainbow Bursties to new bubblegum frozens. Get more flavour and fun with Rainbow Bursties, only at Hungry Jack's.
This is a magical masterpiece.
This looks like something you would get in a 3 Hut restaurant. Unbelievable.
And you've nailed at the age of?
I'm 11. 13. 10.
Like, come on.
Junior MasterChef on 10. It starts 7:30 Sunday.
This is 10 News First. US President Donald Trump says he's feeling great on his first day back at the White House after returning from hospital. The COVID-infected president tweeted up a storm today, with America's top Democrat, Nancy Pelosi, questioning if the cocktail of drugs he's on is impairing his cognitive abilities.
Donald Trump is back in the White House, not seen but certainly heard. Feeling great, he tweeted, before ordering Republicans to stall a stimulus package. A flurry of tweets followed, perhaps because of the restful sleep he had with no symptoms, according to his doctor. Good thing Trump's isolating in the residence and not the West Wing, the site of the spreading infection.
We feel comfortable working here, those of us who are still here.
Which isn't many. Senior advisor Stephen Miller is the 15th official to test positive. The Joint Chiefs are also in quarantine after a general became infected too. After it became clear that there was a major coronavirus outbreak here at the White House, the Centres for Disease Control reached out offering to help run a contact tracing program. The administration declined.
Don't let it dominate you. Don't be afraid of it.
Last night's stunning comments continued to spark fury.
Have some empathy to the people who are suffering and grieving.
While Australian commentator Miranda Devine was in his corner on TV.
I think it's just incredibly selfish of, older people or neurotic people who are timid and afraid.
Even shocking the Fox News host.
I'm sorry, I just want to clarify that they're being selfish or they're being afraid?
I do.
Joe Biden has had
enough. No more. Wearing a mask is not a political statement. It's a scientific recommendation.
Michelle Obama backed up the former VP.
And we simply cannot trust this president to tell us the truth about anything.
And now the next presidential debate is in doubt.
I think if he still has COVID, we shouldn't have a debate.
Even though the unwell president is looking forward to it. Eamon Ashton-Atkinson for 10 News First, Washington.
New York City officials have vowed to crush COVID-19 after a resurgence in some of its communities. Schools have already been closed in several suburbs and dozens of non-essential businesses have been ordered to close their doors. The biggest impact has been on predominantly Orthodox Jewish communities, where the virus has been especially rampant. Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny has made his first video appearance since a suspected poisoning 2 months ago. Speaking to a Russian blogger, he said he was feeling much better, but struggling with shaking hands. Navalny's blood has been tested and the results confirm he was poisoned with the banned Soviet-era nerve agent Novichok. Hurricane Delta is intensifying as it roars across the Cayman Islands and Jamaica, rapidly growing to a Category 4. Delta is on course to slam into Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula later tonight, with wind speeds of almost 250 kilometres an hour. A storm surge of up to 3 metres is also predicted. Kyrgyzstan's president has agreed to hand over power after opposition demonstrators stormed Parliament for a second time. They also occupied the debating chamber and declared they had seized power of the country. A jailed former leader of the opposition has been declared Prime Minister. Facebook has banned pages and groups from its social media sites that openly support the QAnon conspiracy theory. QAnon has been designated a potential source of domestic terrorism by the FBI. Despite that, several Republicans have voiced support for the group, and Donald Trump has called it patriotic. The group's theory claims President Trump is a secret warrior against a supposed child trafficking ring run by the deep state, Democrats and Hollywood celebrities. And ahead in 10 News First, how the stock market reacted to the big spending federal budget. And the small country town hoping to back a winner in this year's Melbourne Cup to honour a champion of the past.
The moment I wake up.
My name's Joe and I'm 25 years old.
Before I put on my makeup.
No!
There's double the surprises.
There's a small world.
On the new season of The Bachelorette. 7:30 tonight.
What if you're missing information about meningococcal disease, a rare but potentially deadly and devastating illness, most common in infants and adolescents? Speak to your doctor for more information about meningococcal disease, because missing information could mean missing out on a whole lot more.
The all-new Hisense Black Steel 6-star fridge with Australia's highest Energy Star rating. Black is the new green. Hisense. How good?
New Pepsi Max Mango. Max taste, no sugar.
At Open Universities Australia, we'll help you find the right study choice for you. All in one place. Explore online courses today at open.edu.au.
People love superheroes, but it's you have to start figuring out to. It's diabolical. That's where we come in. Come in to do what? Take down the superheroes. So what's your big plan? You'll love it.
I won't love it, I never love it.
Noted.
Flavor you can touch, flavor is a must. Flavor just for me, flavor you can see. Shapes.
New Shapes Chicken Palmy.
At Carpet Call, we want you to know we're still here for all your flooring needs. Hybrid flooring, carpet, rugs, even wall coverings and blinds. Call us on 13 23 23 and we can arrange a virtual appointment to discuss your needs. And we have a large range of DIY products too for immediate delivery in Metro Melbourne. So call Carpet Call on 13 23 23 or visit carpetcall.com.au for Australia's largest range of floor coverings at Australia's best prices.
First they sued Hungry Jack's, now they want to ban our ad telling you the Big Jack has 25% more Aussie beef than theirs. But we know when you tell an Aussie it's big, it better be big. The Big Jack and the Mega Jack, only at Hungry Jack's.
It's JB Hi-Fi's 5-day price madness with a whopping 15% off computers. This Hisense 43-inch, $595. $300 on the Samsung Galaxy S10 and stacks more. Plus, get free delivery or use our contactless collect. Shop online or over the phone. JB, you've done it again.
Hey, mate, have you seen the Sportsbet app now has Sky Racing?
Really?
Yep. Live racing from all around Australia right there on your phone.
Oh, I'm liking this.
Yeah, just one tap and you're streaming from Randwick, Caulfield, Ascot, Dapto Dogs.
Righto, mate, I get it. What are you, the Sportsbet guy now or something?
I actually do a pretty good impression.
This is new. Sky Racing, now available on the Sportsbet app.
Bloody hell, that's pretty good.
I told you.
What will they say about TV's biggest shows?
Yes!
Wait, what? This is an absolute fantasy.
New Gogglebox Thursday.
Tuesday night, taco preparations begin. A dominant female wrestles with a guacamole, whilst her counterpart has found an alternative to beef mince. With grace, they settle into their nest for the evening.
Good evening. Final check of the roads. There is a collision to steer clear of Pascoe South, Melbourne Road at Woodlands Avenue. We've got a truck stuck under the rail bridge in West Melbourne. Lloyd Street is closed at Dynon Road with crews on scene there. And lights flashing amber, Ferntree Gully, Burwood Highway at Glenfern Road, so drive with extra care through those areas. Also expect heavy delays if you're heading up north on the Hume Freeway. There's a police checkpoint at Donnybrook Road really slowing things down from back at Craigieburn. I'm Jess Miller. Thanks to Tassal Salmon. Have a great evening.
Hello there, I'm Gillian Bowen with your finance news. The Treasurer last night revealed the government's plan to pull the economy out of its COVID coma. So what does the corporate world and investors think of the federal budget? NAB is welcoming the tax incentives to encourage businesses to invest and the wage subsidies to create more jobs, saying they'll be significant contributors to rebuilding Australia's economy. The Commonwealth Bank supports that too, saying the policies together over time will help to bring down the rise in unemployment. It's also got the tick of approval from the heads of Woolworths, JB Hi-Fi and the Australian Retailers Association. The ARA particularly keen on the personal income tax cuts and cash stimulus for welfare recipients, arguing there can't be an economic recovery without a retail recovery. So what did investors think? Well, they've put their money in consumer stocks, with Australians expected to have more money in their pockets. The key will be whether people choose to spend it or save it. Travel stocks were down. New community COVID cases in New South Wales wouldn't have helped, the market finishing the day up. One thing Australians have been using spare cash for: wiping away credit card debt. The latest figures from the Reserve Bank show since COVID, we've got rid of a whopping $6.3 billion of debt, accruing interest to more than $500,000 credit card accounts have been closed. A quick look at the dollar. It's weaker against all of the major currencies. And right now on 10 News First Person, my federal budget podcast, two leading economists help me pick apart the federal budget. Make sure you have a look at that on 10 Speaks. And that's finance.
This is Melbourne's 10 News First. Tonight's headlines. The big sell for the biggest federal budget in living memory, a deficit of almost $1 trillion. The Treasurer says it's all about creating jobs. People line the streets of Kilmore to get tested for COVID as concerns grow about how the Chadstone outbreak may have spread. And the driver involved in the horrific Eastern Freeway tragedy, Richard Pusey, slapped with a further charge, taking it to more than a dozen in total. Budget 2020 has been billed as a blueprint for the nation's recovery, but it will come with a hefty price tag, a record debt and deficit. The federal government wants everyone to know it could have been much worse. Here's our breakdown of the big numbers.
In the throes of a global crisis, the government has put forward its plan to drag Australia out of the first recession in almost 30 years. But it'll come at a cost. A deficit of $213.7 billion in this financial year alone, and an accumulated deficit of $480.5 billion over 4 years. It's in this time frame the national net debt will hit $966 billion.
In gross debt, it's $1.7 trillion.
The money will be thrown into job creation. A new subsidy, the Job Maker Credit, will give businesses $200 a week if they hire a job seeker under 30 and $100 a week if the hire is between 30 and 35 years of age.
Nearly 1 million Australians on job seeker over the age of 35 are ineligible for the government's hiring credit announcement. Why has the government blown out Liberal debt to $1 trillion during this Morrison recession, while still leaving so many Australians behind?
I never thought I'd see the day when the Labor Party was attacking a program which was designed to get young people from job seeker into work, Mr Speaker.
To no one's surprise, Stage 2 personal income tax cuts will be brought forward and backdated to July. Australians earning between $50,000 and $90,000 a year will get just over $20 extra a week and $1,080 at the end of the financial year. Those on an annual income of $120,000 and more will get roughly $50 extra.
But more than 11.5 million Australians will get further tax relief.
We fully support that bring forward.
The government hopes tax relief will be made available as early as this month. A further 160,000 Australians will be out of work and in the unemployment queue by the end of this year, but everyone will have access to extra mental health support in this budget. Stella Todorovic for 10 News First.
A small Victorian town is hoping a win in this year's Melbourne Cup will help it honour one of its most famous sons. At 15, Birchip stablehand Ray Neville was the youngest jockey to win the great race, a feat that's unlikely to be repeated.
3.5 hours drive from Melbourne in the heart of the Mallee is Birchip, home to one of our greatest sporting fairy tales.
There'll never be another jockey, 15-year-old jockey, ride the winner of the Melbourne Cup.
Birchip teenager Ray Neville was an apprentice jockey when on the morning of the Cup he found out he'd landed the mount on 80-1 long shot Rimfire. His only surviving relative in Birchip, sister Alvilda, says Neville had only saddled up in 8 other races.
Did you have any idea that Ray was even at the Melbourne Cup that day?
No one up here knew and no one in Melbourne because it was a last minute thing.
The 1948 Melbourne Cup was the first decided by a photo finish, the margin a nose. Well, word just spread out through the town and it was just incredible. Soon after, Neville grew too big to be a jockey and moved home to Western Victoria. He died 12 years ago after battling cancer. Now, 72 years on from his famous victory, locals are campaigning to honour him with a mural on the town's grain silos.
What will it mean to have Ray's face up on the silos?
This is the first time that there's been a made a fuss of him and he would have lapped that up.
Birchip is one of this year's Cup sweep towns, where 24 locations are given a horse in next month's race, and whoever's runner is first past the post will take home $50,000. Birchip's residents are hoping to use their winnings to bring the artwork to life. There'll be so many different types of people come, and it'll be a great asset for the community. The boy from Birchip toasted his victory with a glass of lemonade, and you'd imagine that'll be the drink of choice for these Mallee youngsters, should they have cause to celebrate on the first Tuesday in November.
Go Birchip!
Annie Kearney for 10 News First.
Well, now Stephen's back with Wednesday Sport, and the Tigers coach has laid down the law.
He has, Jen. Damien Hardwick has told his undisciplined players to lift their game. The Cats prepare for the Magpies under lights. Could it be Gaz's last hurrah? Joe Danaher walks out of Essendon. And one win away, the Lakers take a 3-1 lead over the Heat in the NBA Finals.
Can this budget change the future of young Aussies from bleak to bright? Next.
The moment I wake up,
I'm quite nervous. I can't wait to meet the love of my life.
before I put on my makeup.
I'm Fraser.
Ooh, Fraser. He is gorgeous.
I think there were some sparks flying.
The new season of The Bachelorette starts 7:30 tonight.
Nature's Way Beauty Collagen Tablets enhance collagen formation deep under the skin where beauty creams can't reach. Nature's Way Beauty Collagen gives your skin back its youthful bounce, glow and radiance.
Meet the revolutionary Sleeping Duck mattress reimagined by aerospace engineers. The first mattress ever to win Choice's Best Overall Mattress 2 years in a row. It comes manufacturer direct, free of markup. Sleeping Duck. Incredible quality with incredible value.
At Open Universities Australia, we'll help you find the right study choice for you, all in one place. Explore online courses today at open.edu.au.
You might be doing swimming wrong, just like Aussies are doing hydration wrong. If you're thirsty, try this. Tetley Cold Infusions. Bye-bye, boring H2O. Hello, hydration.
Make a day with the footy finals. For every AFL finals game, place a same-game multi with 3 or more legs, and if one leg fails, get a bonus bet back up to $50. Tab. Long may we play.
Gamble responsibly.
Oh, should I? With great flavour and 50% less fat, it's easy to say, oh yes. Go on. Say yes to new Smith's Oven Baked.
There's an unspoken promise to care for your pet. At Pet Barn, we'll help you keep it every day. With same-day delivery and an instant price match promise. Visit Pet Barn today.
Hey, do you reckon we celebrate the small things too much? It's not broken.
It's not broken. It's not broken.
They're always up to something. Jason, PJ in the morning. Kiss 1011.
When the great race becomes the grand finale. Watch as we crown the King of the Mountain and our 2020 Supercars champion, the Supercheap Auto Bathurst 1000, October 15 to 18. Watch it live.
Hurry, the Monopoly game at Macca's ends soon. Peel, play and win before it's too late.
At Care Super, we understand it takes hard work to outperform. For us, it's about adapting to deliver superior performance. That's how we've consistently outperformed other super funds over the long term.
This looks like something in a three-heart restaurant. How old are you?
10. Junior MasterChef starts 7:30 Sunday on 10.
Good evening. The carnage continues at Essendon with Joe Danaher walking out on the club and asking for a trade to Brisbane. Nick Butler joins us. Nick, he was once hailed as the Messiah. Now, as far as the Bombers are concerned, he's just a naughty boy.
Hello, Stephen. Yeah, rough couple of days for the Bombers. First, Adam Sard wants to join the Blues. That hurts enough, going to the old enemy. But then Big Joe today confirming he wants to become a Brisbane Lion. I think this will hurt the fans more. The fact of the matter is, big blokes that are 6'6" and can run and mark at the top of their span and kick at 60 metres do not grow on trees. So he'll be very, very hard to replace. But in saying that, in terms of the club, I don't think it came to them as any great shock.
I think he's deliberated a lot over the course of the year, and it's not a huge surprise in the end. But I think in the end it was also a 50-50 decision for him. And so, look, in many respects, to some degree, I guess it's good that we can move forward and end a bit of the speculation. That said, we're clearly disappointed.
So there we go. It doesn't sound like the Bombers are going to fight this one too hard, and they will let him go to the Lions. The challenge for Joe is getting on the park. The talent's there for all of us to see. Only 8 games in the last 2 years, so he needs to keep the groin issue and the calves at bay, but maybe a bit of sun and salt water will be just the tonic for that. Now, Bombers fans, you're going to have to look away here. I don't have any more good news. It sounds like, listening to that interview, that Orazio Fantasia could be the next to go. He's likely to request a trade back to Adelaide.
Thanks to Nick Butler in the newsroom. Damien Hardwick will take a harder line on on-field discipline. The Tigers coach says the buck stops with him and silly free kicks and 50s are not on.
Richmond hasn't had to worry about on-field discipline until now. Coach Damien Hardwick has seen and had enough.
We've just got to make sure our on-field discipline is better. You know, it's been a constant throughout the year, and the reality is it falls on me to make sure that it's stamped out.
Giving away multiple 50-metre penalties is also at odds with their territory-based game.
Look, it was disappointing, there's no doubt. Especially in finals, to give away 50-metre penalties. The territory game is so important to how we play and most clubs operate. So, look, we've addressed it, we've talked about it.
Tom Lynch will play after getting an extra week to recover from his injured hamstring.
It was a calculated decision last week. We just thought he might enjoy the extra week of training, so he's right to play this week, which is real positive for us.
They come up against an old friend who torched them the last time they met. Dan Butler has been one of the recruits of the season for the Saints.
Yeah, there's been a little bit of banter already, so I've sent a message to Grimesy and said I'm looking forward to playing on him, and yeah, pretty keen.
We'll make sure we're a lot tighter on him this time. We know what a damaging player he can be, and our feeling is he's a bit of a barometer for St Kilda in the way they play. So we're going to make sure we give him the respect he deserves because he's a wonderful player for them.
And he's already nominated who he wants to play on.
Hopefully can play on Short and Baker. They were my ex-housemates, so I'll be looking forward to that.
Rob Waters for 10 News First.
Collingwood is confident it can do what no team has done before and storm to the premiership from 8th spot on the ladder. While the Pies are full of belief now, it certainly wasn't the case for one star during the Eagles clash.
From smother to season over, Brayden Maynard concedes the nightmare scenario entered his thoughts after coughing up a goal late against the Eagles.
I was just thinking to myself, oh no, they're going to win the game. To be honest, I did go insulate and get pretty worried about what the next 30 seconds or a minute was going to happen.
He needn't have worried with a semi-spot secured, and now there's no doubts in his mind how far the Pies can go.
I feel like we have a group that can go all the way, but there's a few teams that we have to beat. They're in some serious form as well, and they're very good sides. But bloody hell, when we're on, we're on hard to beat.
The next assignment is Geelong. Despite not training Monday, Gary Ablett is believed to be fine for what could be his final match. Not that the club is willing to think about the end of the Little Masters' career.
I'm sure it wouldn't in Gaz's mind either, because there's so much to look forward to, so much to play for.
Well, only a catastrophe will stop Joel Selwood playing after finger surgery.
Oh, well, we haven't trained yet, but yeah, unless you run him over in the car on the way back, I would very much expect the skipper to be leading the way come Saturday night.
Tim Morgan for 10 News First.
And Tim joins us from the Gold Coast. The Cats are training under lights tonight.
Good evening, Stephen. The Cats are giving themselves the best chance to prepare for the conditions they might face Saturday night at the Gabba. They've got a session under lights here at Southport. They're home away from home on the Gold Coast, so it must be said a few keen kiddies are already out there on the track behind me. Top of the agenda, I reckon tonight's going to be a bit of goal kicking. Certainly I missed some opportunities against Port Adelaide, but it's also going to be a key session for Gary Ablett and Joel Selwood. We didn't see Ablett at training on Monday, so it'll be interesting to see the touch he gets in tonight, while for Selwood it's another time to test that injured finger.
Thanks, Tim. At Southport, the home of the Sharks. Ollie Wines has put an end to rumours of a return to Victoria. Long seen as gettable by clubs in his home state, the Power Vice-Captain says he plans to stay and chase success for years to come. Teammate Tom Rockcliffe puts it down to the emotional connection between the coaches and the players.
The bonds and relationships that they have with the playing group is something pretty special, and yeah, I suppose we wanted to repay the faith a little bit, and I think we've been able to do that so far this season.
Wines still has 2 years to run on his contract with Port Adelaide. The Australian women's team is on the cusp of greatness after equalling a world record 21-game winning streak that has stood for 17 years. Captain Meg Lanning was late out, but it mattered little as the Aussies powered their way to a mammoth 325 batting first.
She tries to go aerial. Can she get it over the rope? Yes, she can. The perfect finish.
New Zealand crumbled in response to hand the women in green and gold a share of history. South Australian galloper Dallasand is looking to follow in the footsteps of 2011 Caulfield Cup winner Southern Speed. Both trained by Leon McDonald, he rates the Star Stallion as his best chance to claim the Cup for a second time.
Rain didn't stop Dallasand from having a dip today. Leon McDonald is hoping his star galloper can make an even bigger splash in 10 days' time.
It's a very prestigious race. It's worth a lot of money, and you know, good horses win the Caulfield Cup.
The SA Racing Hall of Famer has committed his 4-year-old Stan to the $5 million Caulfield Cup after storming home in a tight finish on the weekend.
Dallasand between them, it's a head bob of the mare. The mare's got up, I think.
Got through on the fence late. He ran the fastest last 200 of the race and was beaten 0.3 of a length.
The Super Stallion is aiming to follow in the footsteps of another McDonald-trained horse, 2011 winner Southern Speed.
Raced away and Southern Speed won the Caulfield Cup.
Both racing in the same colours and both allocated the same weight for the Cup. The similarities don't stop there.
As a funny thing, she did run fourth in the Turnbull Stakes as well, as a lead up to the Caulfield Cup.
So what does that tell you?
Cross your fingers.
Dallasan will drop down 5 kilograms from his weekend effort when he steps out for the 2400 metre handicap at just 52.5 kilos. He's said to be one of the best weighted runners in the race. And there's an even bigger plan afoot if Dallasan can finally capture his first Group 1 win. Pulford and the Cox double would do something else for him.
That'd be unbelievable.
Jace Kemp for 10 News First.
The LA Lakers are one game away from the NBA championship after a strong win over Miami. LeBron James was a man on a mission, the Kings scoring 28 points, but it was Anthony Davis who came up big in the clutch.
Davis for three. Bang! Anthony Davis from downtown. And the Lakers take a 9-point lead. Timeout Miami.
The Lakers hold a 3-1 series lead with the chance to clinch the championship on Saturday. I'll see you a bit later, Jen.
OK, thank you very much, Stephen. And Kate will be back after the break with all the weather details.
Has social media become a supermarket for digital drug deals?
I say a little prayer for you.
Hello, hello.
I'm Ellie.
Sam, two of you here.
Yeah, we're both bachelorettes.
Both of you?
Yeah.
Oh, this is incredible.
Together.
I really like Sam. I just can't stop smiling.
The new season of The Bachelorette starts 7:30 tonight.
Have you tried the apple cider vinegar diet? Now you can with Nature's Way and their lifestyle plan. Feel fit and look fabulous this summer with Nature's Way apple cider tabs.
My way is Nature's Way.
Aldi's refreshing, seedless Aussie watermelons are perfect for summer.
I love summer. Aldi, good, different.
Right now at Apia, you can double up and save with our comprehensive insurance. Simply buy new eligible home and car insurance together before the 29th of November and save 20% off your second policy. Our dedicated specialists are ready to help. Call 13 50 50 or visit apia.com.au. Apia. Get set, go.
I'd like a bar of chocolate, please.
Your change.
Happy birthday, Mum.
There's a glass and a half in everyone. Collect your story of memorable firsts at Pandora.
Hey mate, have you seen the Sportsbet app now has Sky Racing?
Really?
Yep, live racing from all around Australia right there on your phone.
Oh, I'm liking this.
Yeah, just one tap and you're streaming from Randwick, Caulfield, Ascot, Dapto Dogs.
Righto mate, I get it. What are you, the Sportsbet guy now or something?
I actually do a pretty good impression.
This is new. Sky Racing, now available on the Sportsbet app.
Bloody hell, that's pretty good.
I told you.
Right now at Domino's, get any large premium, traditional or value pizzas delivered and get 50% off. That's right, get it delivered and get 50% off. End Sunday at Domino's. Bring it in.
And they're racing.
In a year like no other, we're taking the cup to you with coverage from across the country to see how we're all celebrating Australia's big event. Everybody has a ticket
They're on top of the world.
to the Melbourne Cup Carnival, live on 10.
Good evening. Kate Freeban checking in on your weather. La Nina has well and truly arrived in Victoria. It's been a wet day across the state as moisture feeds down from the tropics. So far, the rain hasn't been too heavy over Melbourne. The radar shows the rain band moving in from the north today. Most of the showers went either side of the city, but they will ramp up tonight. This morning, Melbourne's low was 10 degrees. Today reached 15 degrees, fairly cool, and right now it's 14 degrees. It's been drizzly around the suburbs with temperatures reaching the mid-teens, while around Victoria it's been cool and wet. It only reached 13 degrees at Colac. Even the Mallee's been cold, just 15 degrees at Swan Hill, with the heaviest rain this afternoon around Edenhope. Around the country it's been wet down the east coast. A little bit of rain in Sydney, it reached 22 degrees there. A very cold day in Adelaide though, 14 degrees, while Perth has stayed dry, reaching 23. On the satellite photo, we can see the cloud that's stretching from the top end down to the southeast, and that's bringing the storms and the rain. It's all coming from a broad trough, which is bringing down moisture from the tropics, and it's combining with the low pressure system that's developed over the southeast of the country to bring rain and storms to South Australia, Victoria and New South Wales. This combination of the two weather systems is classic La Nina behaviour that we'll see more of heading into summer. The chart also shows the colder temperatures there in green, which is much colder than average for October. Looking around the country tomorrow, the rain will contract to Victoria and Tassie. Still a chance of some heavy falls, especially through the northeast of Victoria. Around the country tomorrow, another lovely day for Brisbane, 27 degrees there. Hot and stormy for Sydney, up at 30, with rain clearing for Adelaide and a top of 17 degrees. Showers and 22 degrees in Perth. In Victoria, there'll be rain and isolated thunderstorms over central and eastern districts during the day, with possible heavy falls through the ranges and then scattered showers for most of the state. Looking at temperatures tomorrow will be slightly warmer, especially through Gippsland, up to 23 and 24 degrees. Tonight, there is a severe weather warning out. It's for heavy rainfall and potentially damaging winds from the Mallee right through to East Gippsland, and there's a flood watch through the northeast too. Around Melbourne, tomorrow is looking wet across the board, with most spots sitting up around 19 degrees, while on the bays, winds will blow east and northeasterly to start, with the waves sitting over 1 metre. In Melbourne tonight will be wet with a possibility of thunderstorms, and then tomorrow will bring more rain and again that chance of thunderstorms, a little warmer at 19 degrees. Looking ahead, the showers will hang around for the next few days. A shower or two on Friday and Saturday, but then Sunday's looking dry and partly cloudy, and then next week's warming up. We are back into the 20s, up to 26 degrees by this time next week, which sounds good to me.
The developing stories we're following tonight. Billions for businesses, workers and pensioners in one of the most important federal budgets in living memory. But it will leave the country with a massive debt. Victoria's 14-day COVID case average drops just below 10, but in Kilmore, concerns are growing about a city-linked outbreak. And the fitting farewell to one of cricket's greats, larrikin batsman Dean Jones, in a special ceremony at the MCG. Welcome back. The all-important 14-day rolling average has dropped to single digits for the first time. But what's concerning our health authorities is the spread of coronavirus from Melbourne to regional Victoria. Natasha Exelby joins us live now from Kilmore. Tash, there are concerns that those standing in line being tested today may have been infectious.
Yes, Jen. The Department of Health contacted 177 customers of the Oddfellows Cafe to tell them that they had been at the cafe during the danger period, which meant that they could have COVID-19 and therefore them and their close contacts needed to self-isolate, but that they also needed to get tested. And that meant that they had to spend hours on end today waiting in these queues in the pouring rain.
I've had 3 or 4 phone calls per day, and then they're telling me that I need to be tested straight away. And there's going to be a pop-up place to get tested at. At no time have I been told that someone will come to me. So I've been standing here for nearly 3 hours waiting in line to be tested, and look at all the people around us still waiting to be tested, and we're probably all in quarantine.
And no doubt at his daily briefing tomorrow, Jen, the Premier will be asked to connect the dots on the logistics of this. He's also likely to be questioned about his controversial omnibus bill that he has just been forced to water down. There were parts of that legislation that would allow police to detain people with COVID-19, not because they had committed a crime, but because they might. That part of the bill has now been scrapped.
OK, thank you very much, Tash. The Treasurer and the Prime Minister have spent the day spruiking the biggest spending budget in living memory. They hope the billions for business and tax cuts will be enough to pull Australia out of recession. But community groups say it's missed the mark.
In the throes of a global crisis, the government has put forward its plan to drag Australia out of the first recession in almost 30 years. But it'll come at a cost. A deficit of $213.7 billion in this financial year alone, and an accumulated deficit of $480.5 billion over 4 years. It's in this time frame the national net debt will hit $966 billion.
In gross debt, it's $1.7 trillion.
The money will be thrown into job creation. A new subsidy, the Job Maker Credit, will give businesses $200 a week if they hire a job seeker under 30 and $100 a week if the hire is between 30 and 35 years of age.
Nearly 1 million Australians on job seeker over the age of 35 are ineligible for the government's hiring credit announcement. Why has the government blown out Liberal debt to $1 trillion during this Morrison recession, while still leaving so many Australians behind?
I never thought I'd see the day when the Labor Party was attacking a program which was designed to get young people from job seeker into work, Mr Speaker.
To no one's surprise, Stage 2 personal income tax cuts will be brought forward and backdated to July. Australians earning between $50,000 and $90,000 a year will get just over $20 extra a week and $1,080 at the end of the financial year. Those on an annual income of $120,000 and more will get roughly $50 extra.
More than 11.5 million Australians will get further tax relief.
We fully support that bring forward.
The government hopes tax relief will be made available as early as this month. A further 160,000 Australians will be out of work and in the unemployment queue by the end of this year. But everyone will have access to extra mental health support in this budget. Stella Todorovic for 10 News First.
And the big spending measures in the budget will put more cash into the pockets of many Victorians as we emerge from lockdown. State political reporter Simon Love joins us now. Simon, the federal budget's designed to boost our economy, but there are worrying signs for Victoria.
There are, Jen. There are some assumptions in the federal budget that Victoria's population could go backwards and drop by 400,000 by this time in 2022. Now, if that were to occur, GST receipts would cost the state $3.6 billion less in GST receipts. So what does the state need to do to soften this blow? Well, demographer Bernard Salt, who I spoke to today, says the state needs to focus on providing infrastructure and also a way of life for the population that is currently in Victoria. Here's also the Premier's reaction today. Quite surprisingly, it was very welcoming towards the federal budget.
I say well done to the Commonwealth Government. Well, there are always things we could go back and forth on, whether we got enough here or not enough there. I'm not interested in having those debates at the moment.
And also, Jen, the state budget is set to be in the next month or so. Treasurer Tim Pallas yet to set a date, but Premier Daniel Andrews certainly did pave the way today for a big investment in public housing.
OK, good to hear. Thank you, Simon. Pictures have been released of a special family memorial service for cricket legend Dean Jones. COVID restrictions limited numbers to less than a dozen of his closest family, but there was no denying him one final lap of the ground that hosted some of his finest moments.
A rock star cricketer in the 80s and 90s, Dean Jones's final lap around the MCG couldn't have been any more fitting. With the tunes of Elton John and In Excess playing out at the empty Coliseum, the Australian cricketing great had one final moment on the ground where he was so revered. A hearse carrying Jones's handmade Indian coffin was adorned with the Australian flag, as well as a floral arrangement to showcase the batting star's test cap number. Due to pandemic rules, the private memorial was restricted to 10 of his closest family, including wife Jane and daughters Phoebe and Augusta. At his peak, Jones was the best one-day batsman in the world.
Oh, he smashed that one.
And made his name in the famous Madras Tide Test in India in 1986.
It really was quite ridiculous when you look back, and it was so hot.
In soaring temperatures, he broke through for his maiden Test century, vomiting and on the verge of passing out, yet he pressed on to 210, still the highest score by an Australian in India. Jones died nearly a fortnight ago from a suspected heart attack. He was 59. A public memorial will be held once restrictions are eased. Catherine Firkin for 10 News First.
Well, Stephen's back now with a look at tonight's sport.
Thank you, Jen. The Saints hoping it's third time lucky as Ben Long challenges his suspension. Joe set to go as Danaher wants out from Essendon. The Cats warm up for the Pies under lights. LeBron's Lakers edge closer to the NBA crown. And the Aussies' winning streak hits 21 as they obliterate New Zealand in the third one-dayer. Would you pay to visit one of our most famous beaches? We discuss that tonight. Plus, 2 leading ladies head into the Batchy Mansion, but not before we get the goss.
What if you're missing information about meningococcal disease, a rare but potentially deadly and devastating illness, most common in infants and adolescents? Speak to your doctor for more information about meningococcal disease, because missing information could mean missing out on a whole lot more.
At Coles, you can lower the cost of your weekly shop with thousands of specials across the store this week, like Lynx body spray and deodorant and Nature's Way vitamin C adult fighter gummies, now half price. Coles, value the Australian way.
Boys!
Watch Sky Racing live, anywhere. Now available on Sportsbet.
Flavour you can touch. Flavour is a must. Flavour just for me. Flavour you can see. Shapes.
New Shapes Chicken Palmy.
Great taste. Just add bubbles. Pepsi Max for SodaStream.
Fetch ESPN. Fetch BBC First. Fetch Discovery. Fetch Nickelodeon. Fetch over 50 premium channels. All your entertainment. Easy. Fetch. Red Rock Deli. Discover a world of deliciousness.
I know what you're thinking. Electric. It's not for you. You're probably right. Electric just doesn't have enough range. Everyone knows water and electricity don't mix. No more hanging out here either. Electric just can't keep up. So maybe an electric car isn't for you. Or is it?
We can't fight this virus alone. Please get tested if you have any of these symptoms: fever, runny nose, sore throat, cough, chills or sweats, shortness of breath, loss of sense of smell or taste. And then stay home until you get your results. Help keep you, your family and community safe. Staying apart keeps us together. For details, go to vic.gov.au/coronavirus. Authorised by the Victorian Government, Melbourne.
Can we find the extra cash? Change the home loan to fixed rate. Would that help? Yeah. Or split the loan? Borrow more?
Well, you're ahead on your repayments.
You could reduce them.
Great idea.
Get on top of your home loan with ANZ's Home Loan Check-In.
I'm Ellie and I'm the Bachelorette.
And I'm Becky and I'm also the Bachelorette.
These sisters are looking for love. 7:30 tonight.
St Kilda is having a last throw at the stumps tonight for Ben Long, appealing his one-match ban for rough conduct. Rob Waters joins us. Rob, it's a Hail Mary shot, that's for sure.
Yes, good evening, Stephen. And a real long shot. There have been successful appeals, but they are rare. They won't retry the case. More, it will be the offending player, in this case St Kilda's Ben Long, will try and argue an error in law or that no reasonable tribunal under these circumstances could have come up with this verdict. And that will be tough to prove because Ben Long chose to bump Bulldogs' Jackson McRae. He got him high, and you wouldn't think that it's unreasonable in any circumstance that the tribunal gave him a week. So the appeal has just started. Its lawyers at 40 paces, so it could be a long night. It doesn't seem that Essendon's going to prolong the Joe Daniher situation. He, of course, has rocked the football world by asking for a trade to the Brisbane Lions, but really this has come as no surprise to the club. And here's Essendon's football manager, Dan Richardson, who seems to think that they're just going to get on with it, get their pick and move on with life.
I think he's deliberated a lot over the course of the year, and it's not a huge surprise in the end, but I think in the end it was also a 50-50 decision for him. And so, look, in many respects, to some degree, I guess, it's good that we can move forward and end a bit of the speculation. That said, we're clearly disappointed.
Happening at the Bombers, of course, Adam Saad has requested to be traded to Carlton. Now, the Bombers and Carlton generally don't like each other. Essendon has released a statement saying it wants significant compensation, so I don't think that'll go as easily as the Daniher case. And then, of course, is the situation with Orazio Fantasia, who most of us think wants to head back to South Australia. A lot going on out at Tullamarine.
Sure is. Thanks, Rob. Geelong's preparations to play the Pies ramp up this evening with a session under lights on the Gold Coast. Tim Morgan joins us. Tim, what will be the focus tonight for the Cats?
Good evening, Stephen. I would suspect goal kicking is at the top of the list. The Cats certainly butchered some great opportunities against Port Adelaide and was one of the reasons they went down in that match. But apart from that, I don't think we're going to see some grand sort of tactical changes from the Cats at their training session tonight. I think they're pretty happy with how they went against Port Adelaide despite the result, and there's certainly not a feeling that they need to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
So, no, it wasn't like we lost by 50 points. It was 2 or 3 goals. So take some of those opportunities and the game swings. It's a game of inches at times. So I don't think we need to reinvent the wheel to execute a bit better, and we don't need to reinvent the way that we play. We're confident in that, and if we execute it, then we'll play well and we'll win.
So 2 individuals we'll be watching closely are Gary Ablett and Joel Selwood. We did see Ablett out here before just having a little bit of a kick, so he certainly seems geared up to get out there for tonight's session. He did obviously miss on Monday. As for Joel Selwood, tonight is another chance for him to test out that injured finger. I'd imagine he's still going to be restricted during this session with that big fitness test coming on Friday. Stephen?
Thanks, Tim. The Australian women's cricket team has equalled a world record that has stood for 17 years. The Aussies thrashing New Zealand in the 3rd One-Day International this afternoon to go level with Ricky Ponting's 2003 team with 21 straight wins.
A moment 1.5 years in the making, and it couldn't have been more convincing.
New Zealand are bundled out for 93, and this extraordinary women's team get 21 wins in succession.
Yeah, it's a really special effort, especially over a long period of time, and we've played some incredible teams along the way as well.
Coming off her series-winning century, regular captain Meg Lanning was a late out with a hamstring strain. Rachel Haynes picked up the slack.
Not a lot of automatic respect for off-spinners amongst a few Australian batters.
The Aussies weren't as convincing at times. Lucky for them, the Kiwis were having plenty of problems in the field.
And falls safely. No one got a hand on it.
Alyssa Healy chancing her arm on the way to a brisk 87 from as many balls as Haynes fast approached her second ODI century.
And hits it over the rope. Can she do it in this over? There's a big shout and gone! I see it, but I don't believe it.
It did little to stem the flow as they notched the third highest women's ODI score in Australia.
Can she get it over the rope? Yes, she can. The perfect finish.
It was always going to be a hard chase. Fern's skipper Sophie Devine made the task even harder.
Gone! A hammer blow for the Kiwis.
New Zealand crumbling on a well-worn wicket as the party at Allan Border Field began.
Where's Katy Perry? Oh, we've got Elise.
21 straight wins equalled, but they'll have to wait until 2021 for the chance to claim it outright. Josh McLean for 10 News First.
Marnus Labuschagne is treating the upcoming Sheffield Shield as a warm-up, with his eyes already fixed on the series with India. Having become one of the world's top run scorers, the fidgety right-hander has already started planning on how he'll take down the Indians.
But it's sort of turning over in the background, you know, what you might do, what plans they might have for you. But yeah, definitely there's some thoughts subconsciously just about how you're going to play against their players.
He'll have 4 Shield rounds to fine-tune his form before the first test in Adelaide, expected to start on December 17. Rafael Nadal is through to the French Open semi-finals for the 13th time in his career after a straight sets victory over Italian teenager Yannick Sinner. The match finishing at 1:30 a.m. local time.
Back on track there. Trademark Nadal.
US Open champ Dominic Thiem was upset in 5 sets by 12th seed Diego Schwartzman. While in the women's, unseeded Nadia Podoroska stunned 3rd seed Elena Svitolina in the quarters. NBA superstar LeBron James is just 1 win away from a 4th title. The King and his LA Lakers ruled the Miami Heat in Game 4 of their series with a 102-96 win.
Jimmy Butler has no fear of the big dance, and whatever he's doing, it seemed to be working.
It's just a continuation of Game 3.
It looked ominous for the Lakers until King James bounced back.
James drives, goes inside and throws it down.
While his teammates got a sideline cuddle, LeBron fought for 28 tough points. Bam Adebayo returned with some Miami muscle of his own. The youngest starter in NBA Finals history, Tyler Hero, kept the Heat within reach.
Outstanding.
The big man with one brow left with one eye before responding when it mattered most.
For 3. Bang! Anthony Davis from downtown. And the Lakers take a 9-point lead. Timeout Miami.
Anthony Davis doing it at both ends to ice the game. The only thing tougher, remembering these handshakes.
I'm going to continue to get the work in. I'm going to continue to not sleep until the job is done, so look forward to the next match.
The Lakers now lead 3-1, but Miami aren't without hope.
But our confidence ain't going nowhere. It's going to stay high. I'm going to make sure that it stays high because it's going to have to be at an all-time high to get this next win.
LeBron and his Lakers with the chance to clinch the championship this weekend. Bo Pearson for 10 News First.
South Stradbroke Island turned it on for finals day of the Pro Tour, and Mikey Wright didn't disappoint. The decider was effectively over after his first 2 waves scored a 15.83 out of 20.
Not much to say, really. Just went out and, got another barrel, as you said before. Made sure every heat. But, it was fun.
It was a blowout in the women's final as well, with Queensland's Isabella Nichols coming out on top. The tour now heads to WA's Margaret River. Time for our play of the day, or in this case, play of the daily. Long John Daly left the putter in the bag at a charity golf tournament in the US.
Oh my goodness. John Daly just made a hole-in-one and I got it on video.
Incredibly, it was Daly's 11th hole in one. And there he is with the beard, shoeless.
Blonde.
I'm not sure if they're pants or not, Jen, but that's a pretty good effort. 11 holes in one.
He's unbelievable. Thank you, Stephen. Kate will be back after the break with the 7-day forecast.
We're
We're sisters and we're both here to find love.
There you go, that is different. That's a spanner in the works.
These sisters are looking for love. 7:30 tonight.
The Keyte Window Vac. Simply spray, wipe and vacuum. The quick way to streak-free windows. Special black edition available at Bunnings Warehouse.
$3,000 would be great.
Get a great variable rate and $3,000 cash back when you move your home loan to Westpac. Switching pays. Search Westpac Refinance today.
Chips, the most loved part of a meal. Yet they have the gall to call them a side. McCain pub style are too good to play second fiddle. From now on, chips will come with the side of mains. The chicken can come in the little basket. We'll have chips and fish shops and we'll ask, would you like burgers with that? McCain pub style will have top billing because these chips are the main event.
Oh, McCain, you've done it again.
You never want to take off the perfect shoe. At The Athlete's Foot, we believe in fit. And with MyFit Virtual, you can get the perfect fit for you online. We make it easy. The Athlete's Foot. Now that's fit.
First they sued Hungry Jack's, now they want to ban our ad telling you the Big Jack has 25% more Aussie beef than theirs. But we know when you tell an Aussie it's big, it better be big. The Big Jack and the Mega Jack, only at Hungry Jack's.
Cookie people, cream people, crumbs people, clean people, twist people, lick people, dunk people, munch people. It's time to play, people. If you twist, lick, dunk, then you're my people. We are Oreo people.
Fetch ESPN. Fetch BBC First. Fetch Discovery. Fetch Nickelodeon. Fetch over 50 premium channels. All your entertainment. Easy. Fetch.
Melbourne, need parts for your car fast? Repco has you covered. Shop online with 15-minute car park collect at any of our 38 stores or 4-hour home delivery. Now that's fast. Repco. It starts with the parts.
Hang in there, Victoria.
Everything we're doing
is making a difference.
This isn't easy.
We can't stop now. We'll lose everything we've worked for.
But we will get through this together.
Authorised by the Victorian Government, Melbourne.
Jump online for Freedom's 20% off site-wide offer. Save on a huge range of furniture and homewares site-wide. Sign up to My Freedom today to save on this great offer. Hurry, ends Monday. That's Freedom.
Create your own retreat at home with a Mimosa Portsea gazebo. With an aluminium frame, adjustable waterproof roof and an internal guttering system, it's easy to install and comes with a 3-year warranty. Available at Bunnings Warehouse.
Up next, how Instagram became a supermarket for illegal drugs. The new plan to charge people a fee to visit our most famous beach. That's just un-Australian. And we celebrate the life of one of the world's greatest guitarists, Eddie Van Halen. The project next.
Kate Freeburn joins us now with a look at the weather. Kate, it's pretty cold and wet.
Jan, the rain has set in for the night. There's a severe weather warning in place right across the north of Victoria, and it's looking like a wet night in Melbourne too. Today's been cold and drizzly. It only reached 15 degrees and currently it's 13. Here's a look at what the radar's been doing this afternoon. The showers have moved into Melbourne, nothing too heavy just yet, but they will ramp up tonight. On the satellite photo, you can see clouds stretching from the top end right down to the southeast, and that's bringing storms and rain. It's coming with a broad trough, which is bringing down moisture from the tropics, and that's combining with the low pressure system sitting over the southeast of the country. Tomorrow, most of the rain around Australia will be over Victoria and Tasmania, with the heavier falls through Victoria's northeast. Looking around the country tomorrow, another lovely day on the way for Brisbane, 28 degrees, hot and stormy in Sydney, up to 30, with rain clearing for Adelaide and a top of 17 degrees. Showers on the way for Perth and 22. In Victoria, there'll be rain and isolated thunderstorms over central and eastern districts during the day, with a chance of heavy falls through the ranges and then scattered showers for most of the state. Looking at temperatures, tomorrow will be slightly warmer, especially through Gippsland, up at 23 and 24 degrees. Well, tonight there is that severe weather warning for heavy rainfall and potentially damaging winds from the Mallee right through to East Gippsland. And there's also a flood watch in place through the northeast of the state. Around Melbourne, tonight will be wet, and then tomorrow is looking wet across the board, with most spots sitting up around 19 degrees. While in Melbourne, tonight will be showery with a possibility of a thunderstorm, and tomorrow will bring more rain for the city with again a chance of thunderstorms, but it will be a little warmer at 19 degrees. Looking ahead, the showers will hang around for the next few days. A shower or two on Friday and Saturday, but Sunday is looking dry and partly cloudy, a top of 17 degrees. And next week is warming up. Jan, by Wednesday, 26 degrees.
Good to hear. Thank you, Kate. And that's 10 News First for this Wednesday. I'll have updates through the evening. For now, from the team, good night.